So today we are going to look into Laravel and WordPress, how to embrace both of them, how we can use it intelligently. Both of them have a key strength. WordPress की अपनी की एरिया है, Laravel की अपनी की एरिया है. उन दोनों को हम कैसे मिक्सअप कर सकते हैं वो देखेंगे और क्यों करनी चाहिए बाय द वे. ठीक है. So we can skip this part. We already had the introduction. Before we start, let's have insight in community. जैसे हमारे पास अभी दो कम्युनिटीज है, वर्डप्रेस और लारावेल. अगर वर्डप्रेस की देखें तो वर्डप्रेस की हमारे पास काफ़ी लोकल कम्युनिटीज है अक्रॉस इंडिया और वर्ल्ड वाइड भी, जहाँ पे बहुत सारे इस तरीके के मीटअप्स होते हैं. वी वेरी पीपल आर ओपन टू कम एंड टॉक. यू कैन कम डू कैजुअल मीटअप्स. देन वी हैव वर्ड कैम्प्स, जो एनुअल कॉन्फ्रेंसेज होते हैं जो अक्रॉस द ग्लोब होते हैं. इंडिया में भी होते हैं काफ़ी सारे इवेंट्स, सिटी लेवल, स्टेट लेवल्स. सिमिलरली वी हैव अ ह्यूज लारावेल कम्युनिटी. लारावेल के भी काफ़ी सारे लोकल मीटअप्स होते हैं. यू विल फाइंड लॉट ऑफ सिटी लेवल मीटअप्स, जैसे पुणे है, मुंबई है, अहमदाबाद है. पीपल कम टुगेदर एंड शेयर द नॉलेज, जहाँ पे आप एज अ स्पीकर आ सकते हो, आप नॉर्मल कैजुअल मीटअप्स कर सकते हो. होल आइडिया इज टू नर्चर द लारावेल फ्रेमवर्क एंड न्यू पीपल हु वांट टू लर्न और क्रिएट करियर्स इन लारावेल. देन वी हैव अ लाराकॉन, एन एनुअल इवेंट जो वर्ल्ड वाइड होता है. यूरोप, आई गेस अभी रिसेंटली यूरोप में है, कहाँ है, और कनाडा, ऑस्ट्रेलिया आ रहा है अभी. सो इंडिया ऑल्सो स्टार्टेड हैविंग इट्स ओन लाराकॉन लास्ट कपल ऑफ ईयर्स. These are very good events if you want to stay connected with the community or technology in general. अगर आपको डे टू डे बेसिस पे चाहिए, आई गेस मीटअप्स आर द बेस्ट ऑप्शन बिकॉज दे हैपन्स फ्रीक्वेंटली एट लोकल लेवल. बाद में एनुअल कॉन्फ्रेंस जो आपको काफ़ी लोगों से कनेक्ट करता है. तो बेस्ड ऑन योर नीड्स यू कैन जस्ट बी पार्ट ऑफ द कम्युनिटी इन डिफरेंट कैपेसिटीज. नाउ व्हाई वुड वी शुड डू दिस? ये वर्डप्रेस और लारावेल का मैशअप क्यों करें? व्हाई? इससे हमको बेनिफिट्स क्या मिलने वाला है? बिकॉज काफ़ी लोगों से अगर आप पूछोगे ना, दे आर वेरी रिलीजियस. पीपल हु आर इनटू लारावेल दे विल बिल्ड एनीथिंग एंड एवरीथिंग इन लारावेल. People who are pro in WordPress, they will build anything and everything in WordPress. If you will pick a JavaScript guy, he will create and launch a rocket also in that. If you ask them, they will create anything and everything. That does not mean कि उसमें करना चाहिए. अगर कोई चीज़ कर सकती है, आप बोलते ना सुई से भी बहुत सारे काम कर सकते हो, बट यू नीड बेटर थिंग्स. जब आपको कुछ बड़ी चीज़ काटनी होती है, आपको चाकू चाहिए. वहाँ पे आप सुई लेके जाके काम नहीं कर सकते. यू नीड अ राइट टूल्स करके. सो नॉट बीइंग रिलीजियस अबाउट द टेक्नोलॉजी, टूल्स और फ्रेमवर्क, बट यूजिंग व्हाट इज राइट फिट. तो ये पहला इसलिए करना चाहिए कि यू गेट लॉट ऑफ लर्निंग्स व्हेन यू आर इनटू डिफरेंट टेक्नोलॉजीज, डिफरेंट फ्रेमवर्क्स एंड इंडस्ट्रीज. सो दैट इज अ फन फैक्ट, देयर आर लॉट ऑफ पीपल हु आर इनटू वर्डप्रेस कम्युनिटी आर आल्सो एक्टिव मेंबर ऑफ लारावेल आल्सो, नॉट इन इंडिया बट ग्लोबली. दे अटेंड लाराकॉन एंड एवरीथिंग. आई हैव सीन their tweets where they bring lot of takeaways. It's more of a learning for. There are a lot of people who are pro in Laravel ecosystem, but they have a tap and like what is happening in the WordPress because they want to learn what is happening outside them. If you take an example of Taylor Otwell also, he keeps watch on Ruby on Rails and everything because he knows what best he can get out of all of them. What are the best proven things that are happening in the market? You know that Ruby on Rails do something good. Why not pick that and bring it to Laravel? And that is only possible if you look outside rather than being, वो कहते हैं ना, कुएं का मेंढक रहोगे तो नहीं सीख पाओगे. You have to be at different place. Second is idea exchange. So once you get into it, you start learning. There is a lot of idea exchange. You get ideas what to build, how to handle things. If you look at a Laravel, you know how a project should be done. Like in WordPress ecosystem, we always praise how Laravel has a good documentation. So I have always seen this phrase coming up that Laravel has a gold standard documentation. So that's an idea that we get, okay, aisa documentation banana. That's our learning. If you look at the folder structures, everything, how it put down the conventions over everything, like they don't want developer to think around it. They give a good DX experience. So that's an idea that we can get from Laravel. Like both the communities can exchange. And all this triggers using what's right for the job. There are places where Laravel has to be used. There are places where WordPress has to be used. कोई option ही नहीं है. ठीक है. So now we look at both of them from different perspective. के what are the key strength, what they provide us, what is the Laravel ecosystem providing. Because once we get an idea and gist of both the frameworks and libraries, we know how to assemble them. जब तक पता ही नहीं है कि दोनों का strength क्या है, उसको assemble कैसे करोगे आप. So WordPress key strength is content publishing. WordPress can do anything and everything. अगर आप उसको बनाना चाहो, build करना चाहो, you can create CRMs, you can create lead management system, lot of other stuff, e-com, everything you can do using WordPress. Like in past we have built small system because we knew कि यहाँ पे Laravel की जरूरत नहीं है. यहाँ पे Laravel को लाना मतलब बेइज्जती करना हो गया. ओके, उसके आपको बहुत बड़ी चीज बनानी है. इट इज अ पब्लिशिंग फ्रेमवर्क जहाँ पे आपको उसको इंटीग्रेट करना है, जहाँ पे WordPress परफेक्टली हैंडल्स एवरीथिंग, जहाँ पे आपको फॉर्म्स मिल जाएगी क्योंकि WordPress वहाँ पे कॉम्प्लीमेंट करता है उस चीज़ को कि मुझे डेटा लेना है, एंटर करना है, मुझे पूरी लीड्स मैनेज करनी है. इट्स ऑन ए स्केल वेयर इट कैन बी हैंडल्ड. सेकंड, WordPress सुपर पावर इज एक्सटेंसिबिलिटी. आप उसको एक्सटेंड कर सकते हो. लॉट ऑफ पीपल डोंट नो दैट WordPress कैन बी एक्सटेंडेड. उनको ऐसा लगता है कि तो ब्लॉग बनाने के लिए काम आता है, but people who work hardcore उनको पता है. There is a huge plugin ecosystem. You can add plugin, you can convert it into an e-com using WooCommerce. If you want to convert it into a learning management system, there are LMS plugins you can use it. So this is the superpower. Now we will look at the ecosystem highlight. There are a few areas that I want to highlight where WordPress kind of can help you. First one is the WordPress core that a lot of people know. You can install the WordPress, you can get the website up and running. So that's the core. Then there is a second area which is called multi-site. For example, if you want to use the WordPress installation and have multiple website of it, like different website for different regions, but you don't want to manage multiple installations. एक ही website से look this as a multi-tenancy. जैसे Laravel के अंदर multi-tenancy का concept होता है कि एक ही ऐप के अंदर सबका data store होता है. You can create 10, 20, 30 website under it. For companies who just want to publish content, it makes sense using multi-site capabilities. ताकि आप उसके अंदर आपके regional websites बना सको. One for Europe, one for US, for UK, उनका translation चाहिए. Because again, this falls into content publishing. You can entirely handle that. Then there is called block editor. अगर आपको content publishing में जाना, you need a good content editor where you don't have to focus on how to design, what to design. There is a drag and drop. You give them the overall infrastructure, people can work with it. So WordPress shines here. It's been 7 years. They have something called block editor. Next is BB Press. Like if you want forums or anything, you can use BB Press, a drop-in plugin, and you have your forum. If you want to create a community kind of thing, they have something called Buddy Press. You can create your own communities and everything, something like Facebook, or but a miniature version of your internal thing. Then a lot of people are not familiar that WordPress has its own CLI. Just like Laravel Artisan, they have WP CLI. You can do a lot of automations and everything. Like we have used WP CLI to do bulk operations on WordPress, where we want to like import, do a lot of magical things, schedule things. So you can use WP CLI. You can create your own command, similar to how you do for Laravel. Then WordPress comes baked in with REST API also. Like whatever content by default WordPress have, it is exposed to REST. You can in fact extend it and create your own endpoints also. At present, WordPress has almost 100 plus JS packages which can be used inside and outside WordPress. 100 plus packages. Of that, 50 are very generic. One being the block editor. Like you can take the editor, you can use it outside. In fact, Drupal is also using the block editor. And you can take it and build it yours. So they have something called WP components, WP scripts. There are a lot of these things you can use to build standalone React apps also. Like WordPress is venturing a lot into React since 7 years. Then they have something called interactivity API. Laravel people will understand because we have something called Alpine.js. It is WordPress own something similar around Alpine.js. Like you don't have to write JavaScript, you just use the data attributes, that's it. It has been heavily inspired from the Alpine.js. They have something called Playground. A lot of people are not aware about it. Even the WordPress ecosystem is trying to grasp around the Playground. It is a WordPress instance that runs entirely in your browser. You just go to playground.wordpress.net in. It uses WebAssembly. Something WebAssembly allows you to run any language or any library right in your browser. It loads something called wasm file, which is like a JavaScript in your browser. So within fraction of second, if you type playground.wordpress.net in, you have a ready to use WordPress in your browser to try around. Like you can try things. If you don't want to host a server, do local. So whole idea is to have a quick start with your WordPress. Like if you're doing a workshop or anything, you are with your friend in a coffee shop and you want to show him something, you can immediately do that. So this is again a very good thing that can be learned and used at different places. So now cut to Laravel. Now we will see what all things Laravel provide. So if you look at Laravel, Laravel is primarily an application framework. So we can say that we can use Laravel to create our next WordPress also if we want to. We can take inspiration from there and we can say, okay, we can create CRMs, we can create e-coms. Anything and everything can be created. Like WordPress started as a blogging platform, it gives a certain boilerplate and then you can extend it. Laravel from day one is like, I give you the different parts, you decide what you want to build. I'm not a blogging framework, I'm not an e-com, I'm not anything, I'm just a framework. So it comes at a very lower level if you look at it. Nothing is defined in terms of what functionality it is going to give you. It says that these are the common use things that I will provide, authentication, this and this. And the strength lies in the DX for web artisans. If WordPress and we say that content publishing is something, on the Laravel it is always the DX. The developers like it because they get the developer experience. They want to build something they have just created around it using the best conventions and ready for you to consume. Now let's look at the key highlights of the ecosystem. One, it is ready to use MVC. People who are in tech, they know about the MVC model view controller, so that your application is well structured. You don't have to think around it. They have artisan CLI, so if you want to write custom code for the command lines, you can use this. You can operate and do perform operations around Laravel using the CLI. We have something called Livewire. If you don't want to venture into JavaScript ecosystem, but you want to use this functionality, you can use Livewire. It's like being in the PHP, HTML, and getting the all the benefits of JavaScript. They have something called Inertia. Again, another level where you don't want to struggle a lot with the JavaScript, you can use the Inertia. They have Forge if you want to provision your servers, because end of the day, when you want to develop an application, there is a lot of DevOps that needs to be done. Forge ease out that part. Envoy is used for the deployments. Then we have Telescope. If you're building an application, definitely want insight into what is happening, how things are performing, what requests, what is happening. You can get it from the Telescope. There is something new entrant. We have a Reverb. It is socket-based communication, like creating chat applications, anything. Developers used to write a lot of boilerplate code. Today also a lot of developers write a lot of code to make this function. Where if something is happening, you want to show a real-time notification. If something is happening here, you want a real-time update of that. So Reverb makes that very easy and simple. So Laravel has been strategically picking one common thing, one pattern, converting and packing it into something which gives you a great DX experience. That has been Laravel's philosophy. Then we have a Nova. Like a lot of people create backend system. Like I can say 80 to 90% tech is all about creating crude panels. आधे developers की जिंदगी खत्म हो जाती है, add, edit, delete, retrieve. So Nova is like, okay, let me help you with that. I will help you create the crude operations in panel. Now you focus on the business. अगर आपको कुछ manage करना है, कोई tool बनाना है, you can use Nova. Then we have Spark. Like a lot of startups want to create their own SaaS products and everything, where they can handle billing, subscriptions, everything. There Spark shines. Again, we are getting all the components that helps you create those things. Now it is very huge, impossible to have everything on slide. So this is a gist. इसके अलावा भी बहुत कुछ है. Not everything is listed here. So this is the ecosystem. We have Horizon and different things, Parent, Passport, Pulse. A lot of things are that. If we assemble them, we can create great things with Laravel. So now we will see. So now we have seen that these are the two areas where they shine. Now how to bring them together. And sometimes it happens that people like working with Laravel, but there are limitations. They cannot get that goodness in WordPress. Like I like the developer experience, but I have to work with WordPress because I know the publishing is very good. I cannot give up on this part. I cannot give up on that part. So how we do that? So we will see that. Embarrassing. Now how? So there are certain ways. This is a generic, like WordPress as the front end, Laravel as the API backend. We can say that all the data handling and everything happens in the backend. We will use the theme systems and everything from the WordPress front end, because WordPress has a lot of plugins. They have plugin called for SEO and everything. We will get benefit of that. If we create something in Laravel for ourselves from scratch, it means handling each and everything. So why reinvent the wheel and take benefit from? Like we have Satamic and different solutions also, but we can evaluate and see what fits in the bill. Second is Laravel as the front end and WordPress as the headless CMS. So this is something that we have done a lot, where we use the blade templating and everything. We connected with the WordPress editor and everything is used for getting the content. Then we have microservice architecture, like two systems are separate and then we bring it together strategically. And then there is a hybrid solution that a lot of people in WordPress ecosystem these days use, where they bring in the Laravel components into the WordPress and then they create things. For example, I want to use blade templating. I will use it in WordPress. I want to use the Eloquent. I will bring it in the WordPress. I will use it. So that's the strategy. I want Livewire. I will use it in WordPress. Because I want that DX, but I want the goodness of publishing here. At the developer perspective, this makes sense. But from the user perspective, that makes sense. So I'm going to bring both together. So we'll look at a few case studies. So this is something we built long back, multi-site into multi-tenant app. So the client had a SaaS platform where they used to have different people who are going to handle the properties and everything. And the multi-tenant is going to have their own website. And they want them to maintain their website. So one thing is like, let's create it in Laravel. But now that's like another problem. If you start creating your page builder, you end up diverting your focus. Our primary goal is to give our clients a multi-tenant app which is in Laravel. We don't want to create a page builder for them. Then And we have multi-site because each customer will have their website. So strategically what you can do is you can use the multi-site feature of the WordPress. You can use the Laravel multi-tenant whatever way you want to work, and then use a single sign-on and connect them. Like if user sign into this application, they automatically log into the WordPress. And when you are in the WordPress territory, they have access to everything. They have access to creating page, post, anything and everything they want to. And they both have APIs, both can connect to each other with webhooks and everything. So you have cross communications also. So this is how you can strategically use it. Second is ecom into CRM X service pickup. So this was a scenario where they had their another CRM built in Laravel. They had their service pickup built in another system, and then they had this ecom built on the WooCommerce. So WooCommerce was primarily, then there was an ERP also, which was Microsoft. So different components were there. They integrated everything. So this CRM was entirely built with Laravel. They were fed up with the service pickup part, the way it was built. Every small chain has to go through a lot of things. So they end up having CRM in Laravel and WooCommerce for the WordPress. Now every time the order is created or anything is done, we use this purely as a front end. ये तो sales और order भी नहीं handle कर रहा, वो ERP कर रहा है. But client was like, WooCommerce is good and we knew that it is good for getting everything, orders, processing, everything. Let's not reinvent the wheel there, because we have a lot of plugins if you want to take care, if you want to customize and everything. Order आया, order ERP पे चला गया. Same customer data is sent to CRM also, so they know. Now the data science team, whatever they want to, on top there was another system which was built on Laravel, Nova. The primary job was to get all the details. Customer क्या purchasing कर रहा है, कैसे कर रहा है, it just offloaded there, and they use that Nova panel for the data science, spending habits and what is happening. So you can see strategically we are using Nova and WordPress together and getting best of. अब करने का हम बोल सकते हैं हम WordPress के अंदर ही तुमको असेस करके दे दे, बट वो डेटाबेस का स्ट्रक्चर में मैं डेटा साइंस कैसे करेगा? आई नो दैट्स अ लिमिटेशन. नॉट बीइंग रिलीजियस कि नहीं 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 तो सब कुछ कर लेगा, बेस्ट है ये, नहीं. वी नो, वहाँ ले जाओ, डेटाबेस का स्ट्रक्चर अपना चेंज कर दो, यहाँ से ऑफलोड कर दो, वहाँ जितना डेटा साइंस करना है करते रहो, चार्ट्स बनाना बना लो, नोवा इज गुड फॉर दैट. और यू कैन बिल्ड योर ओन सिस्टम ऑल्सो इफ यू डोंट वांट टू यूज नोवा. देन हेडलेस वेबसाइट विथ लारावेल फ्रंट एंड. आप लारावेल का फ्रंट एंड ले लो और वर्डप्रेस को पीछे. तो यहाँ पे इस तरीके से हो रहा था, वर्डप्रेस में सारा पब्लिशिंग हो रहा है, सब कुछ हो रहा है in a different format, not a content website, but they had different types and they want to display everything. So blade use करके WordPress से connect करके we are using Eloquent to connect to WordPress and communicate. So that is also possible. ठीक है. So we'll look at few resources which will help you do that. सबसे पहले एक Berlin DB है, not precisely for the communication, but I want to highlight. So this is a case of where communities can drive inspiration. So Berlin DB is an ORM which is being specifically built for WordPress. It was conceptualized almost 3 years back. Named Berlin DB because WordCamp Europe, it was conceptualized in that city, so they called it Berlin DB. It gives you almost familiar experience like Eloquent, where you can create your tables and everything and ready to use if you want to do rollback. So it is currently in progress, but kind of good. So you can see they got the idea, they got the learnings, now they are creating. Because a lot of the developer involved are also active into the Laravel community, and tickets issue also you will see that they mention migrations, Laravel, so you can see where they are drawing the inspirations. Then we have Laravel hooks. This is a package. So beauty of WordPress is hooks and filter, a plugin system where you can like modify everything. So one of the Laravel developer has, this is an open source package that someone has created which we also use, where you can add the similar interface, and you can say that okay, this data is coming before it goes out there, I want people to modify it, or I want people to run a specific code at this place, making your package, your application extensible. Like for example, if you create your ecom package, you want to create a plugin system, you can use this. So again, you can see how that specific developer got inspiration, learned from there and bought it in the Laravel community. Now we have Laravel WordPress API. This is another interesting API where you can connect with the WordPress REST API and query in a more fluent structure. So you got everything set up there as a microservice. Now it is a different directory. You are just into your Laravel app, getting all the data and displaying it. So this package helps you do that. Now this is an interesting something called Acorn. This is for a WordPress developer who want to leverage Laravel. Like we want to use Livewire, we want to use Blade, we want to use different components. Right now it is not possible. But this specific, there is something called roots.io. They develop a lot of extensions which brings in Laravel. So they have done this. So we have used, so this is being used since last 3 years. It's a very big client. So they have different 6 to 8 different structures. Symfony is also used, WordPress is also used, Shopify is one segment, one is WordPress, they specifically use for publishing. So they are very good case study in using what is best. Now they have another project where Next.js is being used there. They are like, this fits best. So Acorn helps you bring all the goodness of Laravel into WordPress. You can use anything and everything, Blade, Eloquent, all of that. Then we have WP Eloquent. There's someone has specifically built a package where you can just drop in and you can use your WordPress database as if it was created in a Laravel. You get the complete Eloquent access. Similar way. Now this is Emir. So we have seen Forge, Vapor and everything. So you can say this is Vapor for WordPress. So drawing the inspiration. So this is Carl Alexander, the man who is very active in the WordPress community, promoting OOPs and everything. He is a good follower of Laravel also. The entire website is built on the Laravel Emir platform. It is something like Vapor, which has been created here. So this is to give you an inspiration what all things people are building that you can use. I guess we missed one thing. So there is something called Corcel. Corcel, it's a package. It's allow you, so you can create a Laravel application. You can point it to the WordPress database and it will give you the Eloquent interface. You can query, add, edit, delete. So it supports WooCommerce, ACF and WordPress, 3 primarily data sources. So you can just do the cross communication between them. So mix, match and be the great artisan, the whole idea is. So let's look at a couple of things. So you can see this is the 2024 WordPress.net. This uses a new block editor. So this is what the base capability. So this is the default thing. No fancy, nothing. You can see a lot of things are the page, post, archives. Then they have this patterns. No internet. Give me a second, I will connect it. Mobile. Yeah. So this is the default WordPress theme. Just to show this capability, what can be done in terms of publishing. You can just visit 2024 WordPress.net. So they have concept of patterns, like you can create pricing tables. It is almost like Tailwind UI, how they have their patterns and everything. You can create your own in the WordPress and keep it and like leverage that for each and every project. You don't have to do the work again and again and again. They have something called style variations. Like these are the different variation, color change. The entire theme is same. Your theme can have different color variations. The moment you click on it, it will entirely change it. So we spoke about Playground. So this is Playground. If I type playground.wordpress.net in, it is going to spin. So it is preparing WordPress for me right in the browser. Now imagine taking inspiration from this and creating something for Laravel, where you don't have to install everything. You just want to test around. One for live art, like how Tailwind also have, like having an invite. So someone has already started a project on WebAssembly, which allows you to run Laravel in browser. It is not right now, but yes, idea is there out there. Oh, it's not effectively. Yes, it is an initial implementation with a popular new. Yes. So you can see we have a lot of options. PHP, everything can be customized. I guess it's the internet. So WebAssembly is picking up a lot. If you want to penetrate, just dig about it. Let's move while it's loading. So this is another example where Playground is used. You can see WP CLI and the website right there, right in your browser. If you want to test out something, you can do that. This was the Berlin DB project that I was talking about. So they have a WordPress sample plugins also. So this kind of API it provides. So normally WordPress does not have this API call. You can do exist, install, you can have book query. You cannot have this. So this library allows doing that, like doing adding the records. So this is the Laravel hook one. So like this, you can do this. Like when your model is getting the data get published, you can just add a filter here. So normally it just give data whatever is possible, but if you want to add an extension point where Laravel developers or anyone else can modify that, because packages are very rigid, you have to add configurations. What if you are able to modify that? So you can do that also. So we can deep dive into the code and see how this is implemented. You can see here also post, publish, boot, query where. This is also filtered. So this is the WordPress API one. You see, generically we call like this, get dot. So this package gives us an eloquent interface for querying the API. Now this is the Acorn, integrating Laravel with WordPress. It allows you to, so these are the supported packages. You can get all of this goodness into the WordPress, plugin or theme, whatever you're building. So they have this specific article on using Livewire with WordPress. See, we can use WordPress filters and have the Livewire working. Because a lot of people, one, they don't think this is possible because it is Laravel, but being in both the spaces, you know, you can do this magic. So this is the WP Eloquent. You can see this ORM gives you the same. You can create models the way Eloquent creates. If you want to fetch the record table, users get similar thing right in the WordPress. So now it gives you the convenience of having the content publishing and the developer experience of the Laravel both together. So this is one that we have used for offloading, data to data science. So this is Corcel. Just connect your database, and this is how you can use it. Post, published, creating our own model classes. If I want to create, save meta, everything is possible. So they have support for ACF and WooCommerce also, if you have e-com site and this one. So Corcel pack, so this is a Laravel package that will allow you to mix and match. So you stay in your Laravel application, everything happens there, so you can use the microservice, hybrid, whatever approach you want. So these are some of the resources that we have explored and used across time. So use the goodness of WordPress, use the goodness of Laravel, bring it together, build whatever you want to build. Because both have their specific areas where they shine. Yeah, if you want slides, it's here with all the links. Thank you.